chat
Everybody's
behind
on
social
Instagram,
media.
Snapchat.
Not everyone really loves the
a
clothing.
huge
and
part.
stuff.
Why
Not
generation's
everyone has
addicted to
it.
phones?
We're very forward-looking, care a lot about the future.
Extremely overwhelmed.
We're exposed to a million times more stuff than anyone before us
The
was.
effects of climate change are going to be
My
irreversible.
generation don't even think they're going to have kids.
I feel kind of anxious about
I really
it.
hope that we can find a solution as quick as
A lot of
possible.
people dismiss the issue, especially with older people. Like when they say that, it's like, but it's our generation who's going to be living through it.
Visually stunning dive into the mindset of a drive. Just a generation looking forward and finding a more hopeful future, ultimately. It was so neat to be guided through their journey from high school, get to see the people who were influential in their lives and how they were influential ultimately in a lot of their teachers' lives, and getting to see their scientific creation process and research through these very inventive shots. I'm thinking of the zoom out on all of the garbage, them actually in fields taking samples. And it was really interesting to see their evolution of thought through time to taking this active role as change makers in the world, seeking solutions. I also loved that in the broader scope, we got to see the scientific ideas, but we also got to see the intimate. I think them talking about their journey over dinner with their parents was a really lovely way to feel welcomed into the story. And to see them as people just like you and I who sit down and have dinners with our family, even as they're changing the world essentially. So yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful, hopeful piece, and I hope so many young people can see it and see that something they might be interested in, they can take it as far as they want, and if they have something they want to change in the world, that's a possibility. They don't have to sit back.
So, In Love with the Problem was such a great documentary, and something about it that was different from multiple other documentaries was the way that it was filmed and the style that it was done in. It introduced a problem. It showed a younger generation taking up the reins and becoming scientists, figuring out the solution to such a universal problem of what to do with plastic. And instead of just having a bunch of facts and narration and just science happening, it became this journey of a friendship and how these two women were able to find themselves at a young age and then grow together and eventually solve a problem together. And so it really was just a great story in terms of science documentary, finding solutions to problems, and at the same time about friendship and building something together and kind of going against all odds. So it was just a really great short to really listen to, and just to kind of get to know these two people and to really get a sense of hope in the end that they are doing what needs to be done to kind of fix the world that we're living in. So great job.
I absolutely loved this. I thought it was really educational. It broke things down in a way that was easy to understand, but didn't feel like it was underestimating the audience's intelligence, which I think sometimes with documentaries can kind of have that feel that if you're breaking something down to a more generalized audience that isn't as specialized, especially with something that is like science-based and chemically based, of like breaking down the building blocks and being able to reuse and things like that, I think sometimes the tendency is to kind of over-explain or kind of in a way dumb it down too much. But they had a really good line between having things not be so technically confusing that we didn't understand what their projects are, what their passions were, what amazing thing that these people were able to accomplish, but also still making you feel like you were learning something, which I thought was really great. And they were able to really link it in ways that like being informed isn't enough. Like we need to like move on to the next thing of it wasn't just like, oh, let's identify a problem that everybody agrees that we have of this great like overproduction of plastics and single-use plastic and recycling in landfills, and it goes on and on and on, but really attacking that problem and trying to be as positive about a solution as possible. I thought it was really well structured. I thought it was really well explained. I really, really enjoyed it.
I thought this was a really strong documentary, just produced well, edited well. They do a good job at presenting the issue, which is an important topical issue, and then showing us, the faces and the personal lives of the people that are addressing it. And it kind of inspires hope that way, at least for me, knowing that there are people vastly smarter than I'll ever be addressing such an important issue. So for that reason alone, I'm glad this one exists, just to bring more attention to the issue of plastics and what it's doing to our environment. And yeah, I just thought they did a great job at exploring that for us, addressing it, showing us what's being done. And for that reason, I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, this one is really compelling. I think that all of the talking heads and like the main protagonists of this are super eloquent and articulate, and I think that they get their point across really, really well. And I think that there's a lot to admire here. I think the B-roll is really works. The pacing is really strong. I think just overall the entire documentary makes just a really strong case. I don't know how anybody could be on the other side of it. So yeah, I'm really glad that I got to see it, because I feel like I got to have a very insightful look into this perspective.
Yeah, just a really important film. Just from the second it started, I was just, locked in and kind of like quiet and focused in a way of like, shit, like this is really important, scary, heartbreaking stuff. And it's also a very inspiring story. These two girls, just doing so much since they were in high school and trying to solve a climate crisis. It's really, it's inspiring. And yeah, I mean, I love the opening with all the, teens and those kids like talking about all the pressure and stress they have to deal with. It's heartbreaking. It's so hard to hear. But yeah, I thought it was just such a well done documentary and such an important story that needs to be told, and I'm glad that it's out in the world. So good job.
These two girls are beyond impressive with their tenacity, their intelligence, and their collaborative mindset, which has allowed them to make such incredible strides in their efforts to reduce plastic, reduce waste at such a young age. I mean, it's incredible. Who can even fathom what they're going to do with the rest of the time that they have on this earth, considering what they've already accomplished? And they really put it into good perspective for us, as do the rest of the interviewees here, that there are solutions currently accessible. We just have to put our resources together and access them. We have to take this seriously and start being more proactive. And I think that this piece does a fabulous job of articulating that. And I think it also demonstrates the reward that comes from hard work and perseverance.
This movie is amazing. I did not know about these women. I did not know about the work that they were doing. I am completely floored that these teenage girls are changing the world. Well, I know they're not teenagers anymore, but that they started out as friends, as teenagers in high school, basically, and have become scientists together and discovered these technologies together and have basically created a whole new scientific medium for environmentalists. It's staggering and an incredible story. It's beautifully directed. The questions asked of the women were fantastic, and also the people that work with them. And just that time together with their family around the table. It's just an amazing movie. I'm really loving every moment of it. And I can't thank you enough for making it. It's fantastic. I think a lot of people need to see this, especially those that don't believe in saving the environment and what this technology could do to change our world, to consume the plastics and turn it into something else, and we can reuse them. It's really spectacular. So happy you made this. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Congratulations.